Hey everyone, hope you're absolutely thriving. James Lambert here with another video for your enjoyment. So how you doing? I really do hope you're very, very well indeed. What I've been thinking about is my thoughts on patience. And to put it further in context, patience around achieving something significant. And I think somewhere life today has of course sped up. In part, you look at the just processors in laptops and in our smartphones, from fast food restaurants where we get our food to the microwave cooking some of our food quicker and quicker. We live in a world where instant gratification is just an everyday occurrence. There's nothing fundamentally significant or special seemingly about this. We've all got used to the speed of life, and in particular getting our own way. Now, this is all very well when it comes to those things like our food and so on. That's okay, given that context. However, when it comes to actually building something of true intrinsic value, say a career in any field, an artist, becoming a lawyer, a doctor, building an outstanding business, you see, I don't think enough of us have a true understanding, overstanding and understanding of the patience necessary in order to make that happen, that which you really say is important to you. So just take in for studying to be something, so whether it be a vet or a doctor, that takes a good number of years. There is an understanding therefore that in order to pass the bar or to get the qualification, that time would have to elapse, and the groundwork, the very necessary study, would have to go into it. In the same way as perfecting one sporting technique in any field, as a fighter, a tennis player, rugby, whatever the chosen field may be, there will have to be many hundreds, nay thousands of hours of work that go into it. And if we do see the direct correlation between time spent on working to achieve mastery or certainly competence in a given field, I think, speaking for myself here, we can often forget that fact when it comes to working on things that matter to us. So oftentimes I remember looking at others when I was very young in the gym, looking at them skipping very well, and I was somewhat plodding and hesitant at the start, or looking at others that initially were better runners than I, not knowing that it's very logical in the sense that given enough practice, I too could do the same. And so I invite you to also remind yourself, this is if you like a friendly reminder if you needed it, that what you are trying to do in any given field or endeavour in your life, if it matters to you, learn to love the journey as much as you think you will enjoy arriving at the end or at the goal, at the finish line. Rather ironically, I now realise that the journey to any significant milestone in our life, that is where all the work goes into it. You see, like with the black belt in martial arts, or when you actually get for those of that have gone to university, your gown and everything, that you may have arrived. That is when you're externally recognised for your efforts. But all of the work was done in the days, weeks and months or years prior to that. And so if we negate that journey, what is that journey made of? That is the days and the hours, the very grains of sand of our life. To use the egg timer analogy, I'm thinking of the sand that trickled through. So if we're in such a rush to get to the finish, we're in many ways, albeit unconsciously, saying that we don't value our lives. But moreover, back to the original point I wanted to get across, that all of that, the real learning isn't on when you get the black belt, it's on the journey to it. So it's on everything you pick up and learn and integrate along the way. And I now understand that has amazing value. So what does that mean to maybe you? That means we get to enjoy the process as much, if not more, than the end goal. So in writing a book, we don't bemoan the fact that, oh, the sentences are really not coming together today. Oh, it's taken me ages. We relish this. For I often think, again, thinking about time and how quickly it passes as well. When it's done, when your project or your goal is completed, we often look back on the journey with a sense of nostalgia and fondness. I know, again, looking in my own life, at times when I was growing up, I was in the rush to get older, but now, ironically, I look back at times wistfully upon those days because, again, I remember a beautiful quote, I don't know who it's attributed to, but it says that youth is wasted on the young. And it's a beautiful quote, and it has many different interpretations and meanings for myself. But in one way, it was like when you were so young, you almost took for granted the way you could move and your thoughts, thinking that you'd have as much time in the world, and maybe, again, speaking only for myself, didn't at all times make the most of every moment. Just living rather blindly or unconsciously, rushing through life, hurtling to the next experience or the next thing or the next latest gadget or whatever it may be, but not truly being present, literally in one's mind and thoughts. So as I say, the real thrust of this video is I want you to fundamentally change your perspective on patience, because they talk about, I was often told as a youngster, patience is a virtue. And I thought, what does that mean? What does that mean? Patience isn't, I want to get on to the next one, on to the next thing, the next deal or whatever it may be, the next experience, the next holiday, to own the next piece of jewellery. And it really, it's not appreciating each precious moment of time. And again, that egg timer analogy, if the grains of sand are representative of our hours and allotted years in life, rushing on to the next one, the next moment, in part, it's wasting the time that is allocated to us. So as I say, whatever you are working towards, whatever you are building in your life, it could be your fitness, your very body, your health. You could be working on an assignment. You could be having a change of career, becoming a better husband or better partner. Whatever it is you're working, come to see the journey as being beautifully significant and imbued with exquisite specialness, precisely because it takes time, precisely because it's not instant, precisely because you do have to work hard at it. Come to value the journey. Come to really respect that which doesn't come easy. I know I've said this before, but it's worth repeating. There were never any queues outside of the boxing gym, and I'm very, again, with hindsight, but thankful and appreciative of that fact. Because, it really is where, in part, and with no judgment against other sports, but it's in part where, an iron will is really forged, and that spirit, yes, it can be forged elsewhere. But what I was saying too, because of the toughness of it, there were no queues outside the door, where other things that become trends. Again, no judgment, just an observation. But whether it be hot yoga or spinning classes or whatever it may be, there can sometimes be, when you ask the big chain of gyms, there could be actually a waiting list to get onto their classes. It's a beautiful thing. But you see, there isn't for the boxing class, because it's a different type of toughness. My key point is not comparison of sporting endeavours, but it's to remind you that that which is hard and necessary, there won't be any cues there, the rarefied air of hardship. But what you're working on in quiet, by God, that will hold you in good stead when you're working on your health and managing your diet. And when I say diet, I encapsulate the full meaning of that word. What you're viewing, what you're listening to, the company you keep, that which you put into your mouth, that which you feed your soul, the whole holistic diet. You're doing that. No one may know, but you know. You know. And those results, that work will bear fruit. So hold on in there, keep your head up, stay patient, stay persistent, stay consistent, and keep going. As always, if you've watched this far, thank you very, very much for your time and attention. I do appreciate it. I'll never take it for granted because, today there's a million YouTube channels. Of course, there's more than that. There's hundreds and hundreds of TV channels you could be watching. My point is, I value your attention. Your attention is important, and it's important to me. So thank you once again, if I haven't stressed that enough. From my heart to yours, much love, and remember, you are unstoppable, and I believe in you. Take care.